Very good morning to all scholars and FFA alumni who are joining us. I am Tanvi, and truly a pleasure to welcome each one of you to what promises to be an inspiring and insightful session. And at FFE, all of you know that everything we do is guided by a core belief that each of you deserves an opportunity to dream big, achieve even bigger. So whether it is through the financial aid or skill building sessions, the mentorship program that we're running for you, or connecting with leaders like Pawan who have walked the path before you, our goal is just simple: to support you in turning your aspirations into action. And today is a special one. So we're thrilled to have with us Mr. Pawan Kumar Marella. He's a longtime friend of FFE, a seasoned global leader, and someone who genuinely believes in the potential of young minds like you all. So Pawan is not only a generous FFE donor for over 8 or 9 years now, maybe, but also the author of a widely appreciated book, Dear Roorkie, Don't Panic. This is a book that speaks directly to people who are just starting their careers and figuring things out. So he's joining us from London along with his wife, Ruchi. Thank you so much, Ruchi, for joining us as well, and his lovely son. I know that it's super early for you, but we are so grateful that you could make it in time, Pawan. So just a short introduction about Pawan. I'll let him speak and tell us more about himself. But Pawan has had a 20+ year of stint with Unilever across India, Africa, and the UK. And from engineering at IIT Kharagpur to an MBA from IIM Calcutta, he's done a lot. But what really stands out is how real and relatable his advice is. He's mentored so many young professionals, including a lot of FFE scholars, and he's here today to just do that with all of you. So let's give a warm virtual welcome to Mr. Pawan Kumar Marella. Pawan, thank you so much for joining us today, and we're excited to hear from you, and I'm sure this next hour will be full of great takeaways for all of us. So over to you. Let's dive in. Thank you.
And thank you, Tanvi, and thanks to everyone for joining as well. It is Saturday and a weekend, and everybody has plans. So I am very grateful that you're going to give me this hour. I don't take it for granted. There is family work, there is personal work, there are house stuff to be done. And to tell your family or tell your friends or tell your own self that I need to take 1 hour out on a Saturday morning to do this means that you have to sort out many other things for you to be here to listen. So first, I'm grateful and thankful to you. I'm grateful to your family and friends and anybody who's allowed you to be here and your schedule. So thank you. That's my first thing I'd say. And thanks to Ruchi and Ved as well. I was very scared I wouldn't get up. I wake up very late on Saturdays. I was like, the one thing that might happen is we have lots of people on the call and I'm just in dreamland. So Ruchi and Ved, thank you very much for waking me up. Ruchi is my best friend. She also happens to be my wife, but she's my best friend first. And Ved, I don't know, he just happened by accident, I think. But he's here as well. He likes to listen in. And that's our little family. There's another one, Neil, but he's truly in bed. He will not get up before 10 o'clock. The younger ones are always, they don't tend to listen. So, so he's in dreamland. And we have a dog somewhere. Maybe he'll pop up somewhere in the session. But I'm going to make the best use of this time. It's very difficult to do this from how far I am. So my request is to use the chat and the emojis to share stuff. Like I said, I am definitely in the mood to give away prizes. I am more than happy to give my book. I'm going to give my time. But for that, you'll have to contribute here and do things like Afroz did by putting his hand up right up front. So there we are. And Rohan, that's a very cool profile pic. It looks like Daredevil, but I'm not very sure. But that's very cool. I'm going to make that and that mine. I'm doing it from my room. You can see my room. That's a funny pic I keep on my screen. I can show you. Wait, I can show you. There you go. There you go. That's my favorite pic on my room, and I keep it there to say everything is going to be okay, right? So when you are in a tough situation, you're having a tough interview that didn't go well, or you're having a conversation with your team, or your project's not going well, and you're feeling down, I keep this somewhere to look at it to say it's all going to be okay. It's not as serious. And if you're smiling and if you're happy, you'll be able to get through that. So that's with that, let me get started. I'll share my deck. I will talk through it, and we can use the next hour to actually discuss stuff. But please keep the stuff and the chat going. Otherwise, I have no idea whether it's landing or not landing. And there we go. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you're able to see the screen, and then we'll get going. Okay, I see thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Oh, that's nice. Lots of thumbs up. That's reminding me that I'm missing thumbs up. Being in London, the one thing you miss is the drinks that you can't get. You get lots of Coke, but I'm missing thumbs up. Oh, I wish someone could send me some thumbs up now. But anyway, that's for a different day. So I hope everyone's well. And I picked this up from Friends, a serial that I grew up on that probably was playing in 1994, well before you all were born, I can guess. But I hope everyone's well. I thank you for your time. And I know not everybody will be in the same mood, right? We come into these sessions laughing, but somebody may have had a very good week and is here. Somebody may have had a very tough week and is here. Somebody might be very confident and content, and somebody might be in a panic mode saying, I'm looking for a job or I'm stressed out. And I welcome you to bring your authentic self to this conversation. We don't all have to be smiling and confident. If you're worried, you have a question, you want to talk about something, this is my open invitation to take this space as a safe space, because this FFE community is really the safe space, right? It is our family. This is many of you on the call come from very similar backgrounds, very similar challenges. FFE has brought you all together to drive a better future. So let's use that to actually get that going. So I invite you to be your authentic self, right? Good question. I'm loving the emojis, so keep them coming. I would love to see your emojis in the chat as well, and how you're feeling right now. Are you feeling ready to conquer the world? Are you just waiting for this to be over, saying, I forgot to have breakfast and I'm so hungry that I wish this is over? Or you're like, hey man, this is Saturday. Or maybe you're here for the free book, right? Oh, someone's here for the free book. Well, Afroz has got one. Maybe you'll get more. But yeah, feel free to tell me how you're feeling, because emojis are a way to tell me how you're feeling without telling me who you are, right? That's the nice part of emojis. You don't know who's doing that. So anyway, but that's me. As Tanvi said, so I was born and brought up in India. I spent my early childhood in Kolkata, and I spent my teenage years in Hyderabad. I studied in IIT Kharagpur and IIM Calcutta, so lots of Bengal in my blood. Uh, and then after I came back to work, I joined Hindustan Unilever. I studied to be an engineer, and then I did my master's in finance, and then I ended up in a sales and marketing job. So that's my first learning, is you can study something and land up in a completely different job, and then that's life for you. I spent time in Africa, East Africa in particular, for 8 years, where I learned a lot about life. And then I'm now reinventing or rethinking my life in London. So you can start anywhere and land up anywhere. I've worked for 22 years. That's probably older than quite a few people on this call. So I feel very old, but I feel very blessed as well. I've worked across 3 continents, 8 cities, probably 15 or 16 houses, which is the one thing that Ruchi doesn't like, because every time she's like, I wish we can settle down somewhere, and I'll be like, oh no, sorry, we're moving somewhere else. So that's why I don't put the number of houses we've stayed in, because that triggers us. So I'm like, okay, let's just say cities and continents. But I probably know more about landlords and rental contracts than anyone on this call. So that's my side hustle, is I can advise anyone on rental contracts and how not to let landlords take advantage of you. I've done 10 roles. I was going to say thousands of mistakes, but I felt bad for myself. So then I said hundreds, but it's probably thousands of mistakes that I'm going to talk through. And to tell you that you can survive through mistakes as well. I have literally done big, small mistakes, horrendous mistakes. and I've still survived. So survival is something that I've learned, and that's something I'll share with you as well, right? Um, that's the book I've written. As Tanvi said, I'm in a very generous mood to give away some books. As we go through the session, Ruchi is looking at the chat as well because I can't see the chat. But there are ways to win the books, and there could be more. If you have a very interesting or an honest question, if you have a very funny comment, because as you can see, I like to smile. And if you share your top two insights or more, let's see how many people I can actually send the book to in India as we go through this as well. And Neetu has raised her hand. Is that raising her hand or is a reaction? I'm not sure. But if you raised your hand, it's a very good time to ask a question. If you're just reacting, then that's also fine. Neetu, do you have a question?
Yeah, I think she wants us to promote her to panelist. I have Neetu. If you have your question, you can unmute yourself and can anybody who's in the panel now can unmute themselves and put on your
That's fine.
videos.
You let me know, Tanvi or Ruchi, you let
Yeah,
me know
I
if
know
you.
Tanvi. I just wanted you on the panelist. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Neetu.
So I'm going to talk through 10 learnings that I've had. And what I'll do is I will talk through three of them first, and then I'll pause and we'll take questions. I'll do another three, and then we'll pause and we'll take questions. And I'll do another four, and then we'll pause to make it a little more structured. Um, and from what I understand from FFE, and you all can tell me through the chat as well, for the people on the call, some of you may be actually students just about to graduate. Some of you may be in the process of having graduated or looking for jobs. And some of you may have graduated and are in your jobs and in the early stage of your career. And what I say, and I spent a lot of time reflecting on what I want to say, the first thing I'll say is whatever I say applies to everyone on the call. So whether you're a student in a university right now, graduating, or you've graduated and you're looking for a job, or you're in a job, a lot of these are from my reflections over the last 10 years. And probably the most important things that have helped me survive and not panic and to thrive. The first is always health first and rest, everything follows. To be able to do anything with energy, you need to have your health in place. It's physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. If that is not in place, nothing else works. So ask yourself, are you spending time exercising? Are you spending time getting enough rest? Because if that doesn't come, are you getting time enough sleep? Because if that doesn't come in place, when the time comes for your examination, when the time comes for an interview, when the time comes for delivering on the project at work, I have seen people are not able to give their 100%. But in the quest that because we're so busy, because you're so stressed, because you're so focused on cracking the exam, cracking the interview, cracking that project, that you actually sacrifice health and say, I'm going to do health later. Let me just get through this today. And in my mind, that doesn't work. It's the other way around, right? It's almost like the analogy I give saying it's buying an absolutely new phone today, the brand new latest phone. It will recharge itself very, very quickly and the battery will last very long. But 5, 10 years later, unlike a phone, you can't replace yourself. You're the same phone. Imagine now 10 years later, you're trying to recharge yourself and you're trying to work, how difficult that will be and how important it is then to take care of yourself right now to take care of it. So that's the first thing I'd really recommend, advise. And if there's one thing that you take away from today's session, it would be that please focus on your health before the exam, before the interview, before that critical project meeting. You do that and you'll see the benefit of that flowing in everything else you do. The second learning is to show up every single day. And this is my big learning thing. It's easy when things are good, when the weather is nice, the sun is shining, you're happy. It's easy to show up. It's easy to show up at the class. It's easy to show up at work. It's easy to show up and do things. But when things are tough, you had a bad day yesterday, your exam results from yesterday were not good, your interview didn't go well. It's so much more difficult. But the people who survive are people who still wake up and come back and show up. They come back to class, they come back to work, they come back to their boss or team saying, yeah, I acknowledge that yesterday wasn't good, that I didn't perform well, or I didn't get, whatever, I didn't study. but I'm back now to show you that I'm going to improve. People get rewarded for showing up. You compound when you show up. If you stop showing up and you go back, it's never going to happen. So the biggest learning I have is please show up. Some days you'll be running, some days you'll be walking, some days you'll be crawling, but every single day you have to move. Some days in my watch I get 10,000 steps, some days I get 2,000 steps, but at least I get some steps. It's not zero. And that to me will make a difference between the person who's able to survive and thrive and the person who's just not and is just thinking. The third one to me, and probably a very, very important one for particularly for this group of people who are on the call, is these two things, which we find very, very difficult all through our life. Particularly in India, you're taught not to ask questions, right? In our culture, particularly, we are taught to just listen, right? That's our culture. Respect your elders, trust your elders, and do what you're told. Don't ask questions. Your teacher will tell you, and you go to school, and you'll be given an exam paper, and you answer questions. You don't ask questions, right? You listen to your elders, you nod your head, and you just go. You don't. If you're asked, you're rapped on your knuckles, right? You don't ask for help. Asking for help in India is like, oh my God, you're showing weakness, right? Whereas when you grow up, you're rewarded for asking questions, particularly if you're in a company or in your working, whether you're a doctor or whether you're a software engineer or whether you're a sales professional. The job life and the work life is ambiguous. Your boss is going to reward you for asking questions, right? Let's say even in academics, when you're an undergraduate, you're answering questions. But tomorrow, when you do your master's, if you're doing your PhD, you're rewarded for asking questions, challenging the status quo. And that shift from campus to corporate, where you go from answering questions to asking questions, I have found is the biggest leap. We just don't know because we've not been taught. So my request to you is ask questions. Even now, when we stop after this, ask a question. There is no silly question. There is no, oh my God, is this question right? If it's in your mind, ask it. It will help your stress level first come down, whether you're studying or you're working. That's the biggest benefit. Second, it shows that you're curious. Someone says, look at that person. They're asking questions, which means they're paying attention to me, whether I'm your boss or whether I'm your teacher. It shows, oh wow, that's showing curiosity and I'm able to get ahead of this. The second thing in asking is one specific question I'd invite everyone to ask is ask people for help, right? Ask your teacher, ask your boss, ask the community, this FFA community, the group of people who are in this session going through this call, they are your community. Someone somewhere will have the answer to your question. If you're looking for a job, someone in this group already has got a job. They're in a company. Ask them, how did you crack it? How did you answer the questions? What are you learning? Everyone else, there is the wisdom of crowds, right? I don't have all the answers, but we have all the answers. So ask questions and ask for help. And let me stop there and take a few questions. I'm going to take it off screen and let's ask questions on what do you think on what I've just said, and we'll take it from there. What do you think about the health aspect? What do you think about showing up? What do you think about asking for questions? Anything on your mind that we should discuss right now? So let's stop and take a few questions. Let's go.
Anand, you want to ask a question? Just a second, Anand.
Anyone?
Anybody in the panel who wants to ask a question?
Or you can put it in the chat as well.
Snehal Katali, you want to ask a question? Snehal, go ahead, please. Snehal, can you unmute yourself?
The next part of the session, put it that way.
Yeah, there are questions, some questions on the Q&A box as
Hello.
well.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, hi, Snehal.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, very warm good morning to all of you. Hello, Pawan. I am a student at IIT Kharagpur, final year undergraduate. So, as you said, you have did a lot of mistakes and you have survived. So, I want to know what is the most scariest thing you have did at IIT Kharagpur campus and how did you survive? How did you tackle with that? And what are your learnings?
Oh, welcome. It is so nice to meet someone from IIT Kharagpur. KGP brings back a lot of memories.
Yes, absolutely.
And it is my I'll tell you a horrendous story that happened. It really happened, right? Um, I used to be in Azad Hall of Residence, it's one of the hostels. And one of my wingmates was the topper of my department, right? I used to study chemical engineering. I was definitely not the topper, but my wingmate, Fatak, was the topper, like number one. Imagine you're in IIT, competitive place, you're in the department, and he was the department topper, which means absolute genius, studying very hard. And we had one of our mid-semester exams that was happening. You know, we have these exams that were going on. And on the day of the exam, we were the only two people in chemical engineering. So we would go from the hostel to the exam hall. So I told Fatak, exam dopair ko hai, and I'm feeling very nervous. And he used to normally guide me and coach me and tell me, bas ye pad le. He knows how useless I was. He was like, this is probably the most important thing, ye pad le. And it was good revision for him. And I'm like, I'm getting it. I'm like, साथ कुछ तो पढ़ लिया रात में. Why don't we just chill out a little bit? Let's play little bit of cricket in the wing. So we had this hostel. It had these corridors in front of the rooms, and we used to play cricket in that small corridor. I'm like, exam is in the afternoon. थोड़ा cricket खेलते हैं. We'll feel relaxed. He used to love cricket as well. So we spent our morning playing cricket in the corridor, chit chatting. 1 o'clock, we land up at the exam hall, all pumped up, and only to find out the exam was in the morning. And we completely forgot, and I completely forgot because while his duty was to teach me exam, my duty was to tell him when the exam was and just to ensure that we go there. So imagine we go to the exam and it's in the morning, and I've forgotten, bad luck. The department topper has forgotten to come to the exam, and look at how the profs thought of him at that stage. And it's such a competitive place that you would get zero, and it was shocked. And I'm like, chalo, ho gaya to ho gaya. Prof must be a kind person. We'll go and beg him, and we haven't seen the paper, right? We'll beg and plead, and he will allow us to give the exam again. So we go and beg and plead, and you know what he says? No, absolutely no. You guys are going to get zero on this. And you go and imagine, I get a zero, he gets a zero. And imagine how it must feel for him as an exam topper to go and get a zero. So that was the most horrendous mistake. Did we survive that mistake? Yes. Did Fatak graduate as the as the department topper? No. That one exam made him go from number one to number two, and he could not make up that gap, with the person who overtook him. Is Fatak still my friend? Yes. Is he doing well in life? Yes. Is the department topper doing well in life? I don't know. I don't care. I care about Fatak. And am I doing well? Yes. Guess who topped the paper in the end of the semester? Me. Why? Because I knew if I didn't top, I would fail, because 0 plus 100 is still 50 on 100, right? So I said, if I don't get 100, I won't even get 50. So guess who went from bottom of the class to top of the class for one exam? I never got 100 on 100 in any other paper ever again. But in that paper, itna bambu lag gaya, as they say, that I got 100 on 100. So yeah, that's my story. So you can miss an exam and still survive. Anything can happen, and this was as real a story as possible, right? So there's my story. I can see lovely questions in the in the chat as well.
But if somebody wants to just unmute themselves and just want to ask the question that you put on the Q&A, Muzammil.
Yeah, it'd be lovely to hear people ask questions, and then we'll go through the rest.
Ma'am, can I ask?
Yes, go ahead. You can also switch on your video, Muzammil.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. Hello, sir. Warm morning from my side. I'm in Japan currently at Tokyo. I graduated in mechanical engineering from Rama Institute of Technology in 2024. After that, I have worked at product design at ISC under a CPDM department. Because I had a gap in between my job starting date, and when I got the offer, I worked there. So now I'm in Japan, currently working as a mechanical cum robotics engineer. But as you have taken steps forward in your career, what I understood here after working as a engineer for almost 6 months is my core um, best thing which can come out of me is an ideation and in strategy. So I would like to build my career in that way. And what I researched is like, oh, MBA can take me there. So I would want a core career advice from your side, like how can I fast forward my career in that direction?
Let's do. So let me answer it in three ways, Muzammil. First is let for you. Let's reach out to me and DM me on LinkedIn. We can have a more detailed, chat because it will take the whole time. And let me
I
for
have
the
sent a
group answer
request
a little more
already.
broadly now, right?
Yes.
But I just reach out to me and we can have a 30 or a 45-minute chat on the specifics of this, right? I'd love to share with you. But if I expand the question, because many people on the call may have this job, I would say three things. First is if you have started on a career and you're 100% sure that you want to change it, because hota hai, right? Like I said, I studied finance, but as soon as I finished studying finance, I knew I didn't want to do it. So I changed very quickly. So if you know that you want to change because as you're doing it, you're not liking it, make the change as quickly as you can, right? Because the longer you stay in that place, the longer you're getting to becoming good in the area that you're working in, and the more difficult it gets to change, right? So if you know, then make that change as quickly as you can with whatever it takes. I'm going to do an MBA in this case, or I'm going to study something else. I have seen people I know a friend of mine from IIT, studied engineer, who after engineering decided that they wanted to become a lawyer, right? They wanted to be a lawyer. So imagine how big. But they had such confidence in themselves saying it doesn't matter that I finished an IIT degree. It's such a big thing, right? They went and they studied a bachelor's in law all over again. And they graduated when they were 31 from an undergraduate degree in law. And today they're a big lawyer. But they had that much confidence saying, nahi karna hai mere ko engineering, but I want to start. And they were willing also to go back to the starting point and start again, right? So that's my first advice. And if you know that you want to change, then find what to do and change immediately. My second advice is whatever you are doing now, right, will be important even as you make the shift. So let's say, as you said, you're doing engineering or design and you want to move into strategy. Whether you do an MBA, whether you apply, people will ask you how good you were in your current job to see your commitment, to see your consistency, to see your curiosity. So you have to continue to do what you're doing right now very well, even as you wait to jump. You can't say, "Acha, मैंने decide कर लिया कि मैं change कर रहा हूँ, so I'm going to just like do this badly." It doesn't always work out, right? So you have to still focus on what you're doing because you learn a lot more in that. And the third thing I'd say is when you're wanting to do that shift, make that research very deep because you don't get a chance to jump many times, right? So let's say, oh, you go and do an MBA. After, acha, ye bhi nahi chahiye, I want something else. It's possible, but it gets more difficult. But let's do that. I hope that helps you. And let's connect on LinkedIn. And like I said, I'll have a more detailed chat with you if that helps.
Sure, so please accept the request I have sent. It will be more insightful. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Muzammil. Thank you so much. All the best to you. Anybody else wants to just unmute themselves and ask a question, please go ahead. Otherwise, we can take questions from the Q&A. Pawan, if you want to pick any questions from the Q&A.
Yeah, there's one from Sania that caught my eye right in the beginning, right? Saying the placement season has started and how should I work on my English and the basics of subjects to that is so important, right? And I'll and this is something that all of us have, right? So here's my suggestion. I think the first is if what people value at the very start is your competency. So even before English, I would say go back and if you're in university, look at your grades and make sure the grades are top notch. It's something I know FFE insists a lot as well, and there's a reason for it. The reason is if you study very well and your marks are high, it is a reflection of your hardworking ability, right? It's a reflection of your hardworking ability, and that's what companies are looking for. So look at your grades at whichever level you are, make sure for whatever time is left that you absolutely ace your exams and get good grades. It does make a difference. Please do not listen to people who say it doesn't matter. Of course, if your grades are not good, it doesn't mean life is bad. It just means if your grades are good, it gives you a nice head start in the race. That's what it means, right? So make sure your grades are good. Second, I think in today's day and age, people are valuing practical experience, projects, side hustles, and your hunger for growth more than English. So first is to say, are you able to show in your interview what you've done that shows their hunger for growth? What projects are you doing? What side hustles are you doing? Can you go earn money? Because every company is out there to earn money. What have you done? Have you created projects? Have you done some side hustle where you created a mock exam for someone? Have you done a side hustle where you're creating and selling something? What is it that you're able to show that shows hunger for growth and hunger to get ahead is what companies are looking for. So that's the second advice. The third advice is first impressions matter, and first impressions happen even before you start speaking in an interview, right? If first impressions happen with your CV, so how good is your CV? How well have you written your CV? And today, with the advantages in Gen AI, all your answers lie in help. So if you're writing a CV and you're like, oh, I want this CV to look better, use ChatGPT. That's what I do even now. I said, oh, ChatGPT, look at my CV, correct it for grammatical mistakes, which words are not right. ChatGPT should be your best friend, particularly when it comes to updating your CV, your projects, paragraphs you're writing. So make that first impression of a CV count very well. The first impression counts on LinkedIn. A lot of recruiters now go on LinkedIn to check your profile out. Have a profile. Have a good profile photo, not you in a party, having fun. That's nice for Instagram. It's not nice for LinkedIn. Is your profile photo good? Is your LinkedIn profile active? What are you commenting on? Are you adding value on LinkedIn and not just, hanging out there without doing anything? All of those first impressions matter. Then comes English, and then comes your ability to talk in an interview. And for that, my advice is again, you have to practice it. Your English or your communication skills cannot improve in theory. You have to practice it. You have to ask somebody on this group to say, I want to do a mock interview with you every Saturday for the next 5 weeks. The only way to do is to improve. So if you want to get better in an interview, please do 50 mock interviews. You can do it with the people on this call because that's your community and they will help you. You can do it with ChatGPT. Open ChatGPT and say, I have a voice interview. Can you take it for me? There are tools, but if you don't practice it, it's not going to improve, right? Find a course online and do it. And that's my biggest advice. Again, if there is any specific way I can help, just DM me and we can talk. But hopefully, what I want to give everyone confidence is that the ability to speak English clearly is not going to be the make or break in your career. It's a lot of things that are happening before, right? And Muzammil is in Tokyo. He would realize in Tokyo, nobody speaks English. You go to Germany and study, nobody speaks English. So you're not being hired for your ability to speak English. You're being hired for your grades. You're being hired for your hunger. You're being hired for your proactiveness and your ability to get stuff done. You're being hired for the impressions you create. And then one of the aspects is how you communicate in writing, in speaking. But that's just one. So please don't get worried if you say, oh, my mother tongue is Telugu and I was just brought up speaking that. That is not an issue. That is not the reason you're not getting the job. It's something else, right? So let's focus on that. Sonali raises a very good point on getting confidence. And if you don't get confidence, that the hope is getting lost. So that is something I feel you, right? It happens to the best of us. If I go for a job interview and if I don't get it, the first thing I question is my own confidence. And people giving you that feedback doesn't help, right? Because telling you, and The first thing is, it's okay. It's that feeling of not being confident. And then when people tell you, and then you further feeling that lack of confidence is very real. Everyone goes through it. It's not just you. Some people just smile, like I smile a lot, and you're faking it, but deep down, you're feeling that panic, you're feeling that confidence. You're not alone. My advice there and my own reflection is, first acknowledge it and look at it as something that you're feeling. It's not you. You are not confident is not the truth. You are not feeling confident right now is the truth. So there is me, and there is a feeling, and there is something. So it's not me. It's what I'm feeling right now. And once you name it and you acknowledge it and you put a gap between you can attack it. You can say, oh, if I am not feeling confident, let me do something about it. It's like saying, I am feeling hungry. If I am feeling hungry, I will go have some food and I will then feel happy and I'm feeling content. So it's a difference. How do you get that confidence back? You have to find small wins. You may not crack the next interview, but think of it as saying, I need to crack 10 interviews and get 10 no's before I get the 11th one. In each interview, I'm going to experiment with something new to build that confidence. I'm going to sit differently. I'm going to talk differently. I'm going to practice differently, and know that it's not going to work out for the next 5 or 10 cases. Once you know that I'm going to get 10 no's before I get a 11th yes, how quickly do you want to get through the no's? Very quickly, because you're like, yeah, I'm improving. Third, work with people to say, where is that lack of confidence coming through? Is the lack of confidence coming from a lens of, I'm not sure of what I'm talking about? In which case, you need to go and prepare better, right? Like, oh, when people are asking me questions, I really don't know the answer, so I'm trying to fake it. In which case, the confidence is coming from not knowing, and then go and prepare better in that research. If the confidence is coming from, I just freeze when someone asks me a question. I know the answer, but in that interview, I'm just freezing because I'm giving so much importance to that interview. Then you need to calm down and prepare a lot more by giving yourself hacks. So I, for example, when I come to sessions like this, I make notes and I look at my notes. I always talk in threes, so I remember them. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I would like to tell you 3 things. 1, 2, 3. And when I speak, I do this so that I'm remembering it. I like to think and practice my answers, because if you go to enough interviews, you know the questions they're asking you. Tell me something about yourself. Okay. Hello, my name is Pawan. I'd like to tell you 3 things about me. 1, 2, 3. So the more you rehearse and the more you practice, it becomes second nature. It's like learning a musical instrument like Ved learns. Ved learns the violin, right? The more you practice, the more the muscle memory comes in and you start playing it automatically, right? All of us started when we were kids not knowing how to cycle. But the more you practice and the more you cycle, it becomes automatic. So a lot of practice and a lot of dry runs and a lot of rehearsals before the interview will make that interview confidence come up. But if you don't rehearse and you don't practice and you don't do 50 mock interviews or 100 mock interviews before one interview, it won't happen. There is no easy way out of this. It's practice, it's dry run, it's rehearsals, and it's doing it with people. You call me, I'm happy to do, Sonali, a mock interview with you because I don't know you. If you do it with your friends only, it doesn't work, right? Because your friends will be like, ah, acha tha, bahut acha tha, well done. Do it with people you don't know, right? Request somebody in this group right now who you don't know, saying, can we do a mock interview for each other? Where I'll do it for you and you do it for me. And let's be harsh. Let's be strict, right? So those are the tips I can give. And I would love to get into a discussion, later on and help. And it's my open request to everyone whose question I'm not able to answer today, just DM me on LinkedIn and we'll find time one-on-one to do that, because we may not be able to answer all the questions as well, right? I see lots of open questions. Let me do one thing. Let me take you all to 2 other things that I want to talk about, right? So I'll not do all 10. Let me do 2 more that I want to talk about based on the questions we've had. And then I'll try and answer a lot more of the questions that are here, if that's okay. Tanvi, does that work for you as well? Should we do that?
Yes, absolutely. Please.
Let's do that. So I'll just show you 2 more things. And all of them, both of those will link to what I've been speaking right now. and then, let me run through that and then we'll go. Let's do this, right? There is an importance of building relationships, right? When I look at the questions in the chat, people are asking questions and you're looking for answers, right? And the question is, who will give you that answer? And my submission to you is that the answers lie within the community, right? The biggest strength is the community, and this FFE group is your community because you all have gone through that same journey together. So you know the challenges. For people like Muzammil who have gone through the program, who are sitting in Tokyo, who've got a job, they've gone through the grind. So when you reach out to him for help and say, can you guide me? I'm confident that he will help you, right? Someone somewhere has gone through that same challenge that you have gone through. But to get that, you have to build a relationship. You have to go and say, oh, I just want your time. Why will someone give you the time if you don't build that relationship? So invest in time by building relationships, by offering something in return first, right? Saying, you know what, guys, I've gone through these interviews and I'm struggling, but at least let me share with you the interview questions that have come. So if I've gone to 10 interviews and I've not cracked it, it doesn't mean that I'm bad. It just means I haven't found the right job for me. But you know what you've got? You've got experience of 10 interviews. You've got experience of hundreds of questions that come from the 10 interviews. Imagine you sharing that with the group saying, guys, these are the questions that are coming in the interviews. These are the most common questions, right? Imagine how much help you're doing with that to somebody else. In return, say, guys, as you can see, I need some help in cracking this. Can anyone help me? I'm studying this degree. I'm applying for these kind of jobs. Who in these hundreds of people in this group has gone through it? And can you give me 30 minutes of your time? And I'm telling you, people will say yes. The number of times that I have asked for help and I have received it is immense. We sometimes are so shy that we think that people will not help. I'm here to tell you the world is a much better place than we think it is. The world is a much nicer place than what it takes. Yes, you have to reach out to 10 people and one person will say yes. And that doesn't mean the other 9 people are bad. It means that either they were very busy, they didn't see your mail, they didn't realize it. But you can't reach out to one person and say, oh, I reached out to one person and they said, no, maybe they just missed it. Reach out to 10 people, build that relationship by you sharing something first to help the community. And then they'll be like, oh, wow, this person is helping the community. I need to help them back. So give and take. But please work with the power of this community. That's one thing I would say. The second thing I would say, among the many things that I have done here, is this, right? Whether you're in the campus looking for a job, or you are finished your campus but you are looking for a job, or you're in a job looking to get better at your job or change your job, skills are more important than degrees today. Nobody's hiring for a degree. You could be going to IIT Kharagpur, you could be going to a small college, you could be going to a big college. Nobody's going to hire you for the degree that you have or the college you've been going to. Those days are gone. People are hiring you for the skills you have. And guess what? It's never been easier to pick up skills today, right? You want to learn AI and the Gen AI and learn how to do it? ChatGPT can teach you overnight. The best universities in the world are putting up their degrees for free. You may not get that degree, but they're putting up the courses for free on their websites. You go to MIT, you go to a New York university, the best finance courses, the best AI courses, everything is available for free and you can pick up that skill. So if you know the area that you want to master, pick up that skill. Get that certification from there. But if you don't do it and you depend on, oh, I've gone to this college or I have that degree, it will not work. Invest your time in getting your skills up. Second, side hustles are better than just waiting. If, like you said, I'm waiting to get a job. You're not waiting to get a job and you cannot spend your full day applying for jobs. You have to get side hustles, right? Print and sell t-shirts. That is a side hustle. go and teach somebody else something and earn some money. That is a side hustle. Why? A, that keeps you busy. B, that earns you some money. And C, that teaches you real life. Right? Because when you're making and selling something or offering a service, that will teach you how to get stuff done. So please focus on side hustles. Whatever your side hustle is, every single person needs to have a side hustle and a side income and a way to earn money that comes from beyond your jobs for a variety of reasons. Those days of saying, oh, if I get a job, my life is sorted, is done, those are long gone, right? You don't join a company and you're not going to retire in that company at 30 years later. You may get a job, the company may revoke the offer the next day. It happens. Right? You may get a job, you join it, they may restructure, AI has come, you may lose your job the next day. But if you have a side hustle, that's going to keep you confident. And the third, get projects and get certificates. It does make a difference. You have to go beyond theory. You have to say, I've reached out to someone, I've done an internship, I've worked with my professor to do a particular project on real life. Oh, I'm applying to your company, I've done a project on your company. That shows intent because I've studied your company. I know what this job is. Here's my proactive project for that company and that job. If you give me this job, this is what I'll do. Not give me the job and then I'll tell you, because everybody puts the job in the job description, right? You're like, yeah, okay, I know what this job is, and here's my proactive hustle in saying what I. You may get it completely wrong, but they'll hire you for that proactiveness and that confidence in saying, oh my God, this person has spent time to tell me what I should be doing. Here, they've given me a one-pager on a project, right? So let me stop there because that's 5 things instead of 10. I'll send you the deck and you'll get it. But let's take some more questions now. Let me do one thing. I can see there are 17 questions. That's a lot. Do you want to moderate and ask me one of them or two of them based on your understanding of which ones are relevant for a larger group? Would that work?
Yes, absolutely. I think one of the important questions, Pawan, that you've already taken up is overall, it's just not about speaking right English or any other language, but communication skills or the soft skills, as we call it. And I think a lot of students struggle with those skill sets as well, because there are other skill sets, like you said, that ChatGPT and the remaining Gen AI kind of tools are there. But for soft skills, what are the areas and what are the skill sets that people should really go for and learn?
That's a brilliant question. But before I answer that, just want to say thank you to Muzammil and Vishwambar. I see they've offered their help to reach out and happy to connect. And that's what I'm talking about. It would be wonderful for more people to say that in the chat. If you mean it, I'm not putting pressure saying, oh, all of you have to say, oh, I'd love to connect with you. That's not the case. But if you truly feel that you're in a space to offer help, then please put it out there, because then people in the call know and they'll reach out to you. And if you need help as well, put your hand up saying, guys, I'm applying for interviews in this field and I'm studying this. So if anyone can help me in this, please help me. That will also help. But please don't be shy. This is a safe space. It's very difficult to ask for help, but you will see how liberating and relaxing and how much it will bring down your stress if you just put it out there in the universe saying, I need it. Because today, if you're asking for help, tomorrow you will also help. That's how you give it back, right? Karma, it will come back, right? So you're asking for help so that you can then tomorrow help someone else. So, but if you don't ask for help today, how will you help someone else tomorrow? Right? So put it up. I'd love to see, more people. And then I have 2 things. I think one is very practical thing. I think we should do another much longer session on soft skills itself. I'd love to, come and get into the practicalities of it and do a full-fledged, like let's say a workshop. It will take time. It cannot be something that's done in 5 minutes. Would love to take people through a course or hours on it, because we can do that and let's experiment. But if I was to narrow it down to a few things, let's start with the very basic things. I would say do what you say and say what you do, right? What I mean by that is, Soft skills come when you're reaching out to people, right? Because you're engaging with people. That's when, because if you're just sitting in your room, working on your laptop on an exam or a project, you don't need any soft skills, right? I'm doing some research, I'm working on a project, or I'm writing some code. You need hard skills. You don't need soft skills. So soft skills comes when you're interacting with people. When you're interacting with people, the first thing people expect is please do and say what you. If you say you're coming on a call at 11 o'clock, you should be on a call at 11 o'clock. So let's give an example. We have, I don't know, 200 odd people on a call right now. At 11 o'clock, there were 100 people, right? That means 100 people said they would join a call at 11 and did not join a call at 11. That is not good, right? I'm just saying it's strict, doesn't mean it got good now. But if you're saying I'm in an interview and I want interviews at 11 o'clock, please be there at 10:45. Wow. Not, oh, I got stuck in traffic and I came late. So the first thing, do what you say what you do, and the first impressions matter. If you're going for an interview, please dress up smartly. It matters. If you're sitting in a remote interview and the background of your house is chaotic, put a screensaver. If you're saying hello to someone, practice it. Like before I came to you to speak, I went down. I spoke to myself in front of the mirror for 10 minutes. Why? Because my confidence goes up. I went for a quick walk up and down. I jogged for 5 because I want my blood flowing so that when the screen opens and you're seeing me for the first time, my voice is confident. I'm feeling active. I'm not practicing with you during the call. So pump yourself up before any engagement, right? The next is visualize your success. Replay the conversation on that soft skill. If it's an interview, you know what they're going to ask you. So replay it. I'm going to walk in. Let's say it's a physical. I'm going to walk in like this. I'm going to use my hands like this. I'm going to start talking like this. They're going to say, tell us something about yourself. And I'm going to go, I'm telling you 3 things about myself. If it's a remote call, it's going to open. I'm going to test my sound. I'm going to test my video. I'm going to see how I'm looking. I know the question they're going to ask. I'm going to use, my hands to say these. My English is weak. I'm going to tell them upfront. I'm going to be honest, guys. My mother tongue is such and such. I've been brought up. I know the interviews in English. So I know what I'm going to say confidently. But if my English doesn't come through confidently, it's because I've not grown up studying English. Just be open and
Very
transparent
important.
in whatever and that is a strength. Opening up about what is worrying you is a strength. It's not a weakness. People are not looking to hire perfect people. They're looking to hire honest people. If you're being hired as a software engineer, they're hiring for your software engineering skills. You're not going to go and talk to people. Yes, if you're being hired in sales, they're going to look at your soft skills. Of course it is. Because your whole day is in talking to people, right? But different jobs are looking for different skills. And that's why I'm saying if you're going for a software engineer job and they're looking at your coding skills, your intellectual skills, your puzzle solving skills, if you didn't crack that interview, it is not because of your English. It's not because of your soft skills. It's not because even if they told you. So yes, soft skills are also important, but don't get too worried on it and practice it. And let's do a much deeper session. But I hope that helps in partially answering that question at least.
Absolutely, Pawan. I think very important points out there. And I see Rinky, you're there, and I'm sure you have a question, Rinky. So you can go ahead and ask a question.
Thank you, Tanvi. Thank you very much, Tanvi. And this is a very great session, actually. I have no question, but now I am intern in Amazon with the help of FFB and learning more thing. Actually, I am also Hindi medium school and everything is Hindi medium. And my English is also not good actually, but I improve and great insight give Pawan and learn lots of things. Thank you very much.
No, and
Thank
I'm congratulations on interning with Amazon. Look, and that should give people confidence, saying it's not the school. And I can tell you because I worked in India, I worked in Africa, I now work in London with people. Most people I work with here do not have English as their first language, right? It's not just
Yeah.
Hindi medium, right? People in Germany have studied in German medium schools, right? People in Japan have studied in Japanese medium schools. People in Africa have studied in Swahili medium, and they all have done great work, right? They all have done great work. Amazon has hired you because you're amazing at your work, and they will reward you. Amazon wants you to do great work so that you do well for Amazon. They're not here to test your English. So please, that's my biggest request to everyone is to get confidence in your work, right?
Absolutely
And
right,
if it
Pawan.
makes sense. And by the way, let me also give you this. In India, everybody knows multiple languages. That's even better than other countries, right? We know our
True.
mother tongue. We're learning English anyway in the job. If we grew up in some other part outside of our mother tongue area, we knew that language as well. So most people will know two or three anyway, right? That's amazing. And my request to people learning a language is you can only learn a language if you speak it, right? And speak it in a safe space. I agree with you. One advice I'd give is yes, if people are evaluating you, yeah, be careful, right? If your boss is, but find a safe space. This is a safe space. And I'm going to, go and talk and I'm going to improve and I'm going to do it. Find that safe space to talk. But Rinki, congratulations and you're an inspiration to everyone on the call.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rinki. Pawan, a very important question I think Raj Kamal has asked, and I'm assuming Raj Kamal, you have just recently started your career or your work, and he's talking about how to handle workplace toxicity, especially for somebody who's just starting this journey there.
That's it's a very big challenge. I think the three things I'll say is, and I'm just thinking because this is such a serious topic and I don't want to trivialize it. First is, if it's truly toxic and it's impacting your mental health, you should leave. Because nothing is worth your sanity, right? So that's the only thing I would say as the number one thing. Find the way. Two, now you're there. You're not leaving today and maybe. Two is to focus on you not becoming toxic. Because sometimes when we go to a place, we become the place, right? We become like that over time. And if you're noticing that toxicity, try and be away from it, right? Like they say, oil and water don't mix, right? So try and be like oil and water and don't mix. Don't be like salt in water, where you were nice and you went there and you became, part of them. So, and to not become toxic, I would say be a radiator, not a vacuum cleaner. What I mean by that is when you go, you should spread energy, you should spread positivity, you should spread sunshine. Because who knows, maybe the people are toxic, but they're actually seeking help and they want someone to bring that positivity in. And they were like, oh my God, look, there is this positive person, right? And I was getting sucked into this and I want to be part of your gang. So are you spreading positivity? Because that's in your control, right? The workplace may be toxic, but nothing prevents you from going and say, hi, I'm in a good place. Let's go talk something positive. Let's do something happy. You're spreading good vibes, right? And you will attract other people who are like you. You will see that, right? Positive attracts positive. You'll get that, you'll get that positivity and you'll get that energy from radiating the positivity. You need to ask people how they're doing, what's happening, right? Because people will then respond with positivity. That's my second hack. And my third thing is focusing on your work, staying focused on your health, and not getting into gossip, right? It's one thing to build a relationship. It's one thing to sit and have a cup of tea with someone and chit chat, because that does help build a relationship because I get to know you. And it's quite another thing to think, let's go on a chai break downstairs and just gossip about our boss. Bad gossip, gossiping about other people doesn't help anyone. But gossiping and chit-chatting about each other, saying, let us talk to each other about what's happening in each other's lives. How can we help each other does help. So those would be my three, upfront ones, saying if it's truly toxic, find a way out. Two, you should spread positivity because you'll find people around you who are positive and you'll attract it. And the third is don't gossip negatively, but do focus on building relationships in a positive way because that does help. I hope that helps you. But again, happy to go deep down that rabbit hole,
Yeah.
with you individually, because each person's situation is different, right?
Like you said, a very sensitive topic, and we definitely like to have a detailed session on that as well, Pawan. But thanks for answering that. We have time for a few more questions. I see a question from Kawana. I think that's also a relevant question, Pawan. Kawana says that she's currently preparing for placements, doing well, but also has plans to pursue higher studies abroad and been feeling overwhelmed with all the career decisions, big, small, second guessing, um, her decisions. So someone who's navigating multiple phases in your career, how did you learn to make tough choices with clarity and confidence? And how do you know when it's okay to pause and versus need to push forward?
That's a brilliant question, right? I'd love, let me offer to the first. This is a question that is also better answered by people in the group itself. So I'd love, as I speak, answer that question in the chat. Do go ahead, because everybody who's graduated recently would have had that same challenge. Do I study? Do I get a job? What do I do? So do help the person who's asked the question with your own advice, because that will be more topical. And from my end, it's like that the world is getting complicated in terms of the opportunities and what's changing. So at your stage, when you're looking at placements, having a plan, having multiple plans in place is probably becoming a necessity now, right? Because of the world we live in and how quickly it's changing. So that ability to say, I'm going to be applying for jobs and applying for, let's say, higher studies is something that was true 20 years back, and it's something that's true right now. Having just one plan, in my view, is dangerous. That's the way I look at the world. I'm not saying all of you should look at the world like that. I'm saying in my experience, having just one plan is you need to have both. The way to do both that I've seen, you can't do both equally 100%, because then you end up doing 50 and 50, right? दिन में इतने घंटे हैं. So if I am going to spend 4 hours after studies to do something, I can either spend 4 hours preparing for an interview, or I can spend 4 hours applying for higher education scholarships or entry, or I can do 2 and 2. So the way I have found is you need to pace it out and you need to separate, because you need to put 100% on something at one point in time, right? So if you're applying for scholarships or academics upfront, if that can be done before, then fine. You're going to spend your full time doing that, so you do it right, on time, in full, because they tend to have higher lead time, so that the journey starts earlier. And then closer to time, it's like, okay, I've finished my applications for all the universities, nothing more I can do. So let me now focusing on preparing for job interviews, and I give my 100% to that. But if every single day you try to do little of everything, then you are not doing anything perfectly, right? That job application is also not perfect. That scholarship application is not perfect. So see if it's possible, practically possible. I don't know. I'm not close enough to the timings now. But if it's practically possible to do one thing at a time and do that 100%, I have found that to be very useful. So in my example, and I'm probably sure the timings are true, the timing for applications of scholarships or applications for master's degrees were what they were very early on, because they needed a 6-9 month advance timing. So most of me and my college mates finished doing that in one go. Then it was like, oh, किसी को MBA करना है, CAT exam लिखना है. CAT exams were in December. Finish that. Then came the interview. So if you can plan it out that way, do that. And if you can't, then take a call to say, what's most important for me right now, right? What is the one thing that I need to do? What is the one thing that I really am good at? Not what I like, what I'm good at. You can be good at things, but you may not like it. That example I gave of my friend from IIT who became a lawyer, they were intelligent enough to crack JE and do it, but they didn't like it, right? So I would urge people to not confuse what they like and what they do. What you're good at is what's going to get you ahead. So what you're good at, is that really at the top of your mind? And that will tell you that clarity, as Tanvi is asking, to say my heart really is in that and I'm good in it. If that match happens, then that's a match made in heaven. Saying I'm really good in it, my grades are good in this, and I'm liking it, it gives me energy, you go down that path and it will give you that confidence. But just don't do things because everybody else is doing things. Everybody's applying for an MBA, so I'm going to do it, is not going to get you, to that place.
And I say, Muzammil has already taken your advice. Thank you so much, Muzammil, for offering support. Kawana, if you'd like to just get in touch with Muzammil, please do so. Muzammil has also shared his details in the chat box. And all the best to you. So I think a lot of really. Hi. Is that?
This may Neetu. Can I ask a question? Do we have time?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, Neetu, please.
Okay. Hi, Pawan. I'm with FFE itself. And my question is about the online presence you mentioned, like be present and show your presence, right? In LinkedIn handle or something. So, like nowadays, it's more of kind of being like showcasing our self promotion kind of thing. So, will it backfire? And how can a candidate make sure, like, how can he make sure keeping the balance between the visibility and professionalism while being present in social?
That is such an important question, Neetu. Thanks for asking it. I think my own experience on it has been too. If people are on LinkedIn for just commenting and showing off, it backfires badly, right? It is better that you don't do it at all. It's completely, you're better not being there than just being there. When you see comments like, I totally agree, commenting for better reach, I'm like, that person goes off my list immediately, unfollow, right? The best people I have seen is LinkedIn is a professional network. LinkedIn gives you access to anybody in the world. So I use LinkedIn and I've seen students use it amazingly when they reach out to either people or the community with an idea, right? So I'll give you an example. Recently, a group of students from LSR in Delhi, in DU, they got together and they wanted to write a marketing book with some ideas on marketing. So they started cold emailing people on LinkedIn across all companies saying, oh, we're students, we're working on a marketing project, we want to write a book. In return, we'll give you this book when it's ready and you can do with us. And they got hundreds of people responding to them, right? Then they worked with those people to write that book. Then they put that book out on LinkedIn as a project on student industry collaboration. And that's getting a lot of traction. So that is an example of how to be on LinkedIn saying, I have an idea, or we as a group of students or professionals have an idea. We're looking for people who can help us. People will help you. And you're putting it back out to the community saying, oh, here's that marketing book we've written for everybody to see. Then people are, and then you get to know, oh, who is the student, right? Who is the student who worked so hard on this project? So share ideas. Another student, got in touch with me in London. He's studying his master's. He was very interested in quick commerce, like these Zepto, Blinkist, Zomato, etc. So he wanted to do a project again. So he wrote to people in companies working in this sector saying, I have a project and I want to give the report of this project to you back. So what questions do you want to ask? And I'll do it for you for free because it's my academic project. People gave him questions. He did a big project. He did it brilliantly. He did lots of research. He went to meet consumers. He went to meet restaurants. He created a 50-page report, which was brilliant. He gave it to that company and he put it out on LinkedIn saying, look, I worked with Zomato or Blinkist or whatever, and here it is, and here's what it is. And then he's getting recognized for it now, right? So please don't do it for showing off, as you said, absolutely. Commenting on somebody is useless. Putting your own thoughts out is important, and putting thoughts out generally by copying somebody's idea doesn't make sense because at 20 or 25 years of age, you're not a thought leader, right? You've not done anything in your life to say, oh, I'm going to comment on somebody's work. But put your work out. I have an idea. I have a project. I wrote a paper. I did something, not I said something. And you will see the big benefit of LinkedIn because then you can take that project or take that idea and you'll find people in that same sector, same company, same area to reach out. But don't comment for better reach. Don't, I agree. Don't put some random, I saw this company do some stupid advertising campaign and I'm going to comment on it for 5 lines. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to see it and it's going to backfire.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Pawan.
Neetu. Thank you. And I have a related question, Pawan, on while we're talking about the social media and how most of us deliberately or not so deliberately putting a lot of our time into the social media channels these days. I want to ask you, what do you think? Where should we draw that line of not over consuming the content that we have access to now, especially the young professionals, right? Be it videos, articles, or anything that's Gen AI. Where should we internalize and bring our own knowledge and wisdom to the real life experiences?
Yeah, it's such a good question. I think the first is if we all need to have fun first, and we should separate it. We all need to have fun. We all need to take a break. We all need to enjoy because that's important for us as well, right? Life is also about having fun. And equally, when you have fun and you relax and enjoy, it recharges your brain as well. So I'm all for people scrolling Instagram or a YouTube shorts for fun, but don't feel guilty and do it for fun first, right? So if you're watching cat videos or somebody dancing to a funny Bollywood song, बिल्कुल देखो enjoy करो हंसो fall down on the floor laughing. Don't confuse that with learning. That's all I'm saying. So have fun, and just like anything in life, keep a time for it, right? When you're working, if you start having fun, your work is not going to happen well. That's all I'm saying. So if you say, oh, you know what, I'm going to finish my studies, and in the evening I'm going to just scroll social media for half an hour to have fun, go for it. What doesn't work is I'm in the middle of something serious and I get a notification and I'm going to watch a video and then I'm going to go back to work. That is what is causing problem. So my first advice is take off notifications on your phone, right? Switch it off. Have a time for fun. This evening, this afternoon, during lunch, in the weekend, I'm going to watch and have some fun on social media. There's a lot of good stuff in social media. You can have fun. Second, social media, particularly platforms like LinkedIn, are great places to learn as well. So think of LinkedIn as part of your learning time, particularly for people. LinkedIn, ChatGPT, they're all learning. So say, okay, as part of my learning in the day, I'm going to spend half an hour on LinkedIn. I'm going to see these people I follow. I'm going to download their article, read stuff, and work on stuff that links to your area of work. But make it part of your work. I'm going to spend half an hour on ChatGPT today because I'm going to work on it for some project related help. So separate work and separate fun. Have fun when you're having fun, work when you're having work. The only thing I'll ask you to avoid is what Neetu said. Everybody is showing off on all platforms today. LinkedIn ho ya Instagram. Instagram mein aap jaoge, everybody's having the best holiday. You go to LinkedIn, everybody's cracked it and everybody's humble and honored. And that's complete bullshit. Right? That's complete bullshit. That's just people projecting it. So you're not on LinkedIn to see who got a job and feel sad. You're on LinkedIn to say, oh, I want to reach out to that person for help, or I want to do this project and put it out there. You're on Instagram to have fun, or you're on YouTube to have fun. Go watch a song, go watch a joke, not to see somebody's holiday and stalk someone and say, oh, look at that person. Just don't do that. That negative energy doesn't help you. So have fun, do work, keep them separate, make it intentional, and don't feel guilty about it.
Thank you, Pawan. I have noted down some points for myself as well. So I want to ask some people who are on the panel. Vishrambar, would you like to go and ask or comment anything? You're on the panel and you can unmute or switch on your video, and others who are there can also ask your questions. There are a few more questions on the Q&A, however, but I'd like to give you all a chance if you'd like to go and ask a question. Anyone in the panel?
I think I want to add something, a point, Tanvi, to what Pawan just said about your question.
Sure.
You said about when you were reading also all these articles on social media, and you tend to sometimes get carried away with what you're reading. I think there is an interesting point that I have learned also from Pawan, and I'm surprised he didn't cover it, was about purposeful learning. I mean, I've learned, like, because I'm also in the habit of trying to make very effective use of the gadgets being given, because I have very, very strict screen time policy at home for Ved and for Neil both. And for me, screen from the time it entered my life had to drive knowledge or some purpose. It was imperative for me, because I keep telling my children earlier on that when computer was launched, my dad was so heavily into, trying to get to know the gadget, and computers were so new when I was their age. And he picked up this habit of playing solitaire, and hours would go away, and he would numb himself from so many household chores. And it was such a innocent game, playing solitaire on TV. And I think from there, as a kid, I developed this innate dislike for using gaming or doing things which are not considered productive on screen. And I am so obsessed with the idea that screen should not be consumed for unproductive tasks, to an extent where I would just want to like read articles obsessively. And Pawan was like, "You're going to forget everything," you know. So if you're not reading with purpose, or if you do not know how you're going to apply that learning, you're probably just wasting your time and might as well entertain yourself, by watching something more fun.
That's true. And I feel that, sooner or later in your life, and you do realize the mistakes that you may be making at this point in time, wasting your time on overconsumption of, like I said, social media and all of that. But we really hope that with this generation, like you said, in our childhood, when the computers were just coming in, we really saw the technology, booming in front of us, and we weren't born with these gadgets in our hands. But for this generation, we can't blame them, for whatever situation they may be in. But I think that also is causing a lot of anxiety, stress, and mental health issues in this generation, which is again a very specific topic that we can take some other day. But thank you so much, Ruchi, for your inputs there as well. Shikhar, you have a question, I think. I'll just allow you to speak. Give me a second. Go ahead, Shikhar. Can you speak now? Yes. Shikhar, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir.
Hi,
Are you
Shikhar.
able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So, we have talked about how to go in life with our future or our career. But my question is before, I'm in college and third year, but I still don't know, and I am studying electrical engineering, but I don't know where my heart is. As you said, go with your heart where your heart wants to, but I don't know where it is. What do I want to do? So, is there a way or your experience or maybe others, like your advice, how to find that? Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's Ruchi will allude to it. Just yesterday, I was talking about the same subject with her on what I want to do and what's good, where my heart lies. So she'll whack me if I give a different answer than what I told yesterday. So there are two. I think first there is a very practical thing I'd suggest based on years of looking at students and my own friends. First is, till the time you may figure it out, you may not figure it out. It's 50-50. That's what we ended up discussing yesterday, right? Ruchi saying sometimes if you're lucky, you'll find it. If you're not lucky, you won't find it. And it doesn't mean anything. The most important thing in my mind is whatever you're doing right now, you have to do well first. So if you're studying electrical engineering in a university right now, you need to get through that well, because whatever you want to do afterwards, whether you find electrical engineering to be your thing or something else, not doing well in what you're doing does not show you well for that next opportunity. Right? So let's say you want to go from electrical engineering and you say, oh, I want to shift to finance. So I want to do an MBA, right? Very the entrance to the institute will also depend on how well you study right now, because they're testing you for your hard work, your ability to go through things that you didn't like, etc. So the first practical advice is focus on what you're doing and the opportunity you've got and do it well. Second is, when you're doing things, find where in that you're getting some joy and happiness from. And you might find it within what you're studying itself. You might find that, oh, it's not that I want to shift completely from electrical engineering. I actually like certain parts of it, or certain areas of it are giving me lots of energy. and maybe one fine day you will go down and do, great work in it. But third, you're still very young, right? At the age of 20, when you're in third year of engineering, no one's expecting anyone to find out where your heart lies or your passion lies. It will be years before you find it. It will be years before. In the meantime, you do well, you get a job, you earn the money, you show up every day, you make friends, you spread the good word, you help your community. There are things outside of your core job that will also give meaning to your life, because life is, if life is 100, right, on a score, it's four different things that add up to 100. 25% is work, right? 25% is health, 25% is family, 25% is something else, is financial security. So imagine, even if your work is, let's say, 10 on 25, make sure the remaining are 25 on 25, your health, your family, your financial security. So look at life more holistically. And at all points of time, not everything will have a perfect answer for you, right? So basically, don't stress. You're still too young. Do what you're doing right now very well. Time will tell whether you like it or not. And focus on doing well in what you're doing right now, if that makes sense, like very specific. And Ruchi can add on as well, because
Also,
we're talking in that perspective.
yeah, also having come outside India, having that opportunity to be able to travel and see so many cultures and be outside the country has helped us also appreciate that as Indians, we grew up with a very linear perspective of ourselves. And usually we are forced to look at our job or our studies as the one where we lend our identities from, you know. We are made to feel like what we are, and we are supposed to love what we are doing and be obsessed about it. However, when you step out is when you realize that you're more than your work. You know, we are not grown up with the idea of appreciating a wholesome us. So we are not appreciated to have hobbies, you know, and sometimes our heart may be in one of the hobby, you know. Our love may not come from a 9 to 5 job, or from doing supply chain, or it may not come from doing an engineering job, but you may do that to support you, to pay your rent, to pay your bills. But then your true joy may come from say making jamming with somebody over the weekend, and that 1 hour of jam session will fill you up for a whole week of energy. And I think somewhere down the line we are not taught to have an identity which goes beyond anything which is beyond books. Like academics is supposed to be everything. If you're good at it, you're excelling at it. But I may not want to do that. Maybe I just want to prepare cards, or I just want to decorate mugs and give that as Diwali presents to everybody, and maybe that's where my joy comes from. But where will I buy those mugs? Maybe I need to work, and do a job that may not give me all happiness but helps me buy these mugs. So I think we have to look at ourselves as a whole, and not just as somebody who is deriving our identity from the degrees, or from the salary we make. It's not so numerical. Not everything is so numerical. And I think we did not. I mean, we both, Pawan and I, for us, it was a wake up call when we stepped out of India, and we are seeing that um, our parents had it easy because there was still this mandir mein jate the every Saturday, Sunday. Our dadis or our parents would take us there. They would socialize and meet people. For there will be some community service. But I think as we are growing up, this nuclearness, isolation is becoming so like a silent pandemic. And we are becoming more isolated, and we are forced to look more inward with all these gadgets and technology, that we are not able to see ourselves as an extension outside of that. And I think having a hobby and trying to find your heart and joy in just making paper cards, for friends, is also equally part of you as it is to do find meaning of your life in a job. So I think stay open to that idea is only I would like to add to Pawan's point.
And Shikhar, I think Pawan in his deck also had covered that side hustle has such a huge importance in our lives. And having said that, I think one of the other cons of social media these days is, everybody wants to be an influencer or a vlogger or whatnot, and not giving too much credit to the jobs they are in. I think that's not the right attitude. Like Ruchi said, that if you want to pursue some hobbies also, you would really need to think of in real terms, in logical terms, where are you going to generate that resource to run these hobbies as well, or to travel or see the world and things like that. So please don't discredit that, you don't want to do a 9 to 5 kind of a job. I think that's a very wrong idea that a lot of influencers now are setting up in youngsters' minds, that, oh, please don't do a job and, just pursue your passion or just pursue your hobbies. You have to take a very practical approach for that as well. So thank you, Ruchi. Thank you so much again for that analysis of your question. And I think Priyanka has another question. Yeah, sorry, Neetu. We are running short.
Like I just,
Yeah, I'd just
it's
like
fine,
to
it's
take
fine.
two more questions from Priyanka. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. Please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. My name is Priyanka Gorai. I am currently in electrical engineering department, 4th year from Kalyani Government Engineering College. And my question is that does really our SGPA from college or our academic matter in future or in our jobs?
Well, if you're in 4th year, that means your SGPA is already fixed, right? So there's only one answer to say that it doesn't matter. Anyway, jokes apart, I think there are two things. Now that if I look back at my own group of friends who graduated 22 years back, they were all kinds, right? They were toppers. I knew toppers, and I knew people right at the bottom who barely scraped through. The good news is that everyone did well. Right? I don't know of a single person in my friend circle or otherwise, and I'm not talking about my relatives, my friend circle. I know people from every level of academic achievement, right? Everybody's done well. So please be reassured that whatever your SGPA, whether it is 6 on 10 or whether it is 10 on 10, you will both do well. How to make that go well for you depends on how good your CGPA. So let's assume your GPA is 9 on 10 or very high. It gives you a head start when you're applying to jobs, scholarships, masters, etc. But it does not work if you're completely changing your line, right? So it depends. Similarly, if your GPA is low, you have to find a way to explain to people why it's low. And equally, you have to find a way to explain to people what you are really good at. Because if your CGPA is very low, it means I am not good in this. That's why my GPA is low. The exam questions were what it is. I could not answer it. And I'm not good in this. But I am good in this. And let me explain to you why I'm good in this. So there has to be something that you are really good at, which you have. And you have to be able to explain that. I know a friend of mine who had a CGPA of 5 on 10. Today is a successful entrepreneur because he spent his entire undergraduate days listening to rock music because he was deeply passionate. So he went, when he didn't get a job from IIT, he went to a journalist and he became a journalist for a rock magazine because he's like, yeah, I'm the guru of rock music. I spent 4 years listening to it. That's why my CGPA is 6. They gave him a job of a journalist and his journey started from there. So it's not about your GPA, it's about what is your superpower and what are you really good at, and that you're investing your time, effort in, that you can explain to people saying, give me a job because of this, or give me an admission into that college because of this. That is the most important thing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Priyanka. Do we have any more questions? Anybody would like to ask directly, or I think we're already 1.5 hours done here. And Pawan, I know that you have a weekend ahead of you as well. You probably didn't even have breakfast yet. So if you have any questions, maybe I'll wait for another few seconds. And if not, then Pawan.
No, I think one is very practical that if someone could send me the questions from the Q&A,
Yes.
I'll definitely respond to them in writing. Because I think if as we close this off, it vanishes. So if Sunandini or then one of you could just, let's say copy paste all those questions and give it to me, I'll draft a response and give it back to you so you can give it to those particular individuals. I think asking a question is very courageous and I want to respect that. And I don't want them to feel that we didn't answer it in the lack of time. So I commit to answering each of the individual questions, individually. That's one. Two, I am open. Please do reach out to me on LinkedIn. And when you're reaching out to me, it would be nice if there is a specific question or an ask so I can optimize my time in answering that. I would love to generally stay connected, absolutely. But if there is something specific I can help you with, please feel free to put it in the first contact message itself so I can see how best to help you. So that's number 2. And 3, just to close it off, I think you guys are very special, right? Particularly the backgrounds you have come up and the resilience you have shown. You are absolutely special. Please clap for yourself. You are amazing. And I don't mean it in a soft, I really mean it for the hardships that you have gone through and the determination that you have shown to get to this stage of your life, to have these opportunities. You are the best of the best. Each of you will do very, very, very well in life because of that, because of your determination, because of your hunger for growth, because of the need to survive that you come with. Have great confidence in yourself. And I'll end with what I started off with, the 2 things. Please focus on your health, because that will determine your future success, your mental, physical, emotional health. Health is the foundation of everything. Without good health, you cannot do anything. And the second is, please help each other in the community, right? So imagine if 200 people write to me and expect me to help versus 200 people are helping 200 people. How much more powerful is that, right? Please ask for help so that someone in the group can help, and please offer help, because someone will then benefit from your help and it becomes a two-way street. With that, I'd like to say thank you for your time. I know it's lunchtime. I know it's Saturday. I really thank you for the privilege of your time and the conversation that you have given to us. Right, Ruchi, I don't know if you have anything else to say before we end.
No, thank you so much. It's always so wonderful to connect back with all of you. And like Pawan already mentioned, you've already won one battle. Getting shortlisted for FFE itself is such a huge achievement that you should wear on your sleeve and feel proud about. And if you are already winners, from here on, life is only a more interesting journey, so celebrate that. And we are always accessible for anything that you may need, and in any capacity both Pawan and I can help you with.
Thank you so much, Ruchi and Pawan, that lovely Saturday morning talk. We all need it, I think. Really pepped up, and I can see a lot of scholars now sending me requests separately for the recording. Yes, we will be sharing the recording. It will probably be up on the YouTube channel as well. We'll let you know about that. And Pawan, to you, I think we're definitely not done. So we are going to ask you again to come back here on this platform, and we'll continue this, because I think there's a lot more that we need to know from you, learn from you, and from all the aspects of the life that you have seen so far, and from Ruchi as well. So on behalf of all the scholars, alumni, and FFE team, I'd just like to thank you so much, Pawan and Ruchi, for taking this initiative for our scholars. And we'd love to see you when you are in India, and if you're planning to come anytime to Bangalore, we'd love to see you in our office as well, and maybe plan one of these in-person sessions with our scholars. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ved, for spending time with us. Thanks a lot. Say hi to Neil, and we'll meet you all soon. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you, Sunanthi. Thank you.
Thank you so